Well, that was a really wonderful interview. Did you like it?
Yes.
Great. Well, the next one, I'm sure you're waiting for. Please put your hands together for the next guest for this evening. It's Dr. Rustam Jinwala. Hi, Doctor. Dr. Rustam Jinwala is a trained plastic and an aesthetic surgeon with a special interest in the field of minimally invasive cosmetic surgery. He completed his basic surgical training at Kasturba Medical College, Bangalore, and in plastic surgery at the Bombay Hospital Institute of Medical Sciences. He has worked for 6 years at Bombay Hospital under the guidance of senior plastic surgeons, gaining valuable insight and honing his skills. He has also completed a fellowship of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. Dr. Jinwala is a member of a number of national and international professional societies. He regularly attends workshops and conferences and also travels internationally to train with master surgeons in order to stay abreast of the latest technologies and techniques. In fact, he has just returned from a clinical fellowship with Dr. Wu of Singapore, one of the leading plastic and aesthetic surgeons in the world. Dr. Jinwala specializes in non or minimal invasive surgeries of the face and body, such as facelifts, nose reshaping, eye lifts, Botox, fillers, etc. His motto is maximum gain with minimum pain, while turning flab into fab.
Wow.
Put your hands together for the doctor.
Hi. Doctor,
Hi.
welcome to Jam with Sam.
Nice to be here.
So, Doc, how does it feel?
Good, good.
Are you feeling nervous?
A little bit.
A little bit, okay. Don't worry, don't worry.
When you ask that greatest fear question that you asked him, if you ask me that, it's going to be public speaking.
Okay, okay. Okay. Tell us who you are in one line and give us 2 adjectives that best describe you.
Okay. I'm Dr. Rustam Jinwala. I'm a board certified plastic surgeon. And 2 adjectives would be Parsi, compassionate. That's a cheat answer because Parsi covers lots and lots of things.
Take us through your journey, education, career, life and all.
I did my schooling at Campion School and Jai Hind College after that. My medicine, MBBS and MS was at the Kasturba Medical College, KMC, Manipal. Then I did a stint in the UK. I did my FRCS in general surgery there in Edinburgh. And finally came back to Bombay and did my plastic surgery at Bombay Hospital. I've started up my clinic in 2007, not as experienced as others, but it's growing quite well. I take a trip every 2 years and go out and train with the best in certain niche specialties. And I try and bring those skills, techniques and technologies back so I can give it to my patients here.
Fantastic. Let's get a bit personal. Tell us about your support system, your family.
Well, I have a great family. I have a lovely wife and 2 kids. She's a doctor as well.
Okay.
The softer side of medicine, she's a homeopath.
She's a homeopath, yeah. Okay.
And I have a great support system at home as well. I've got my dad who lives in the same building. I have 3 sisters, which explains the hair loss.
Okay.
And great in-laws, and we have a good support system. So it's a great life.
Okay.
That's the great part about India is that, we are very networked into family as well. And that's networking too. And it makes life a lot easier.
So where do you stay?
I stay in Colaba.
The Parsi colony over there?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a Bagh Bawa.
Okay.
I stay near a Kushrabag.
Okay, okay. So what does being an entrepreneur mean to you? How did being an entrepreneur happen to you?
I'm going to make lots of friends here. My family business is we are wholesale liquor distributors. My great grandfather started it and it's been carried on. My dad has been running the business for many years. So business is in my blood. I chose to become a doctor because medicine always fascinated me. And ultimately I settled down doing plastic surgery because every case is a challenge. Every patient is different, has different desires, aspirations, and it's really a test of my own skill to deliver consistent and good results to them. Of course, I have lots of backup to do if I ever have a problem with medicine.
So we had to pass out all the napkins over there because people were salivating when they mentioned liquor over there. No? Okay, tell us about your specialty, what do you do and its future?
I am a plastic surgeon, which essentially encompasses which can be divided into two broad specialties. One is reconstructive surgery and one is cosmetic surgery. And I have settled down doing cosmetic work. And in that too, it's such a huge specialty. I focus on certain things like body contouring, liposelection, which is a newer form of lipo. And I'm into certain cutting edge things. I do a lot of breast surgery and face surgery. But there's tons of stuff in cosmetic surgery which I don't do because I believe it's better to be a master of one or two rather than be a jack of all trades.
Okay. And what are your specific areas of interest?
I took a plunge a few years ago and invested, as Dr. Joshi also said, you have to do it at one point. And I invested in some very expensive technology. It's called Vaser liposelection. It uses ultrasound technology to help liquefy fat within the tissues. And then you remove that fat so it's permanently gone.
Okay.
That was a prohibitively expensive machine. It's the first time I think anyone in my family ever had to look at taking a loan. But I did it and I've never looked back since.
Okay. So what kind of a machine is this?
It's a special device which everybody knows what liposuction is. We make a tiny hole, we put in a tube and suck out all the fat. The downside is the fat is solid. So when you use that high pressure vacuum, you're tearing out the blood vessels, the nerves and all with it. So with this, the ultrasound vibrates and basically breaks down the fat, liquefies it and converts it into oil. So then you can use very, very low power suction and suck out the oil without all the collateral damage.
Okay.
So patient recovery is much better, results are a little better, and it's a lot less manual work for the surgeon as well.
Okay.
But it is state-of-the-art technology, and it's great because I can sculpt a very tiny area. I can give you a six-pack if you'd like overnight. How would you like to see a really Sam with showing his abs next week?
Yeah, she's
And you can take out large amounts of fat. I've removed 24 kilos from a patient at one shot.
24 kilos of fat?
Yep.
Wow. How much overweight was he?
He was 130 to start with.
Wow. But when you take out all this fat, doesn't the skin come down or something?
Yes, Vaser lipo does shrink skin to a large extent.
Okay.
But in very big patients who have a lot of excess skin, you have to do other techniques. Achha. Those are the body tucks, arm tuck, leg tuck, tummy tuck, and post-delivery mummy tuck as well.
Mummy tuck, okay.
These are also things, parts of body contouring where you sculpt the body to harmonize everything. You remove the fat, then you need to tighten up the skin.
Okay. What is the future of cosmetic surgery?
Well, I think in India, for a number of years, forever before, we've had this thing of cosmetic surgeries for vanity alone. It's not so anymore. Trends are changing. We are following the West in a way. Cosmetic surgery is becoming more acceptable. There's tremendous demand coming in with the health revolution that's come in, the wellness revolution that's come in. Everyone wants to look good, feel good, and they all want to do it the easy way.
Easy way. Okay. I think a lot of the Bollywood stars and all, they go under the knife a lot. So
yes, they do. I can't say too much on that.
Okay.
But almost all Bollywood and Hollywood people have undergone the knife or the needle.
Okay. So I believe you're working in some really cutting edge work on stem cells. Can you tell us something about it?
Yes. Every couple of years I go abroad and I try and keep abreast with the trends. Vaser lipo was something that was pretty new. I was the first to bring it to Bombay. That was 4 years ago. Stem cells are the future of medicine. And the most abundant source of stem cells in our body is fat. And it's also the easiest to harvest.
Okay.
Everybody's heard of a bone marrow transplant, right? When we have blood cancers and things like that. Those are stem cells. But to harvest bone marrow is a terrible, painful process. Here you can take out a little bit of fat and harvest an equally good or a better number of stem cells, equally good quality of stem cells, and use it for treatments. Besides, it's a buy one, get one free. You're getting fat out and you're getting stem cells back in. It is the future of medicine. In a few years, it's not only for cosmetic reasons. Stem cells can be used for cosmesis. We use it for fat grafting when we transfer fat for breast augmentation, for cheeks, for butt. It's called the Brazilian butt lift, and it's going to catch up in India as well. But it's also used for a number of medical conditions, some of which are terminal. And stem cells have the potential to reverse those diseases.
It is something like what interferon was in the 90s, the
Yes.
magic drug.
Absolutely.
So something like that.
Absolutely.
It is.
There's tremendous research going on, and results are starting to come in. Soon therapies will be allowed,
Okay.
and then there's no limit to it.
Okay. They say even stem cells are cure for cancer.
Possibly, but not yet.
Not yet.
That's a little far out yet.
Okay.
But there are a lot of degenerative diseases, like fibrosis of the lung, for example.
Okay.
We've used stem cells as medical therapy for these, and we have seen some reversal of that.
Okay.
The only cure for that is a lung transplant, otherwise.
Okay.
So the potential is immense, and that's, I think, the next 10 to 20 years of medicine is going to be focused on stem cells, and then it's going to be genetic engineering. So, before you're born, it's pre-decided whether you have a big nose or a baba nose or hair or be bald, and it's all going to be pre-programmed before you're even born.
The biggest challenges you're faced and how you overcome them.
Passing all those exams to get through to where I am now. It's taken me about 15 years to really start up my own practice, and that's a long gestation period.
I don't know, I read a joke somewhere. This guy, he passes out of college and then he's got a girlfriend who's there, and he keeps studying, she gets tired of waiting for him. In the end, he ends up marrying her daughter. That's the amount of time taken to pass those exams over there. Okay, share with us your passions. What are you doing when you're not running your business and when you're not cutting up people?
Well, I love to be home with my family right now. I've got 2 small daughters.
Oh.
So while they're young, I'm just trying to enjoy them as much as I can. But after that, who knows?
Okay.
I'll have to find a new hobby.
New hobby. A small rapid fire. One word comes to your mind. Happiness.
My kids.
Money.
Wanted.
Life.
Good.
Dreams.
Dreams. Angelina Jolie. Oops.
Yeah, tell me the since you're on that subject of Angelina Jolie, everybody wants to know about that.
Well,
did she do something right, or was it wrong, or what was it?
I don't know, but her lips are the most famous lips in the world.
Agreed.
And you're talking about the breast surgery she's undergone.
Yep.
That's a very, very, it's a topic that really needs to be discussed threadbare. Yes, she was at high risk for breast cancer, and she's done something which is very brave, and it's extremely brave to come out and tell people about it. But at the same time, it is a horribly mutilating surgery. It changes a woman's psyche. So it's not something that, she did it, so I can do it too. Because once it's done, there's no undoing it.
Oh, okay.
Once you've had the surgery, you can't get your breast back. So a woman should ideally get counseled if she's at high risk. And when she understands the pros and cons, then yes. But I think it's an incredibly brave thing that she's done to tell the world that this is the decision she's come to, and she's done it.
Fantastic. India.
Struggling.
Networking.
Essential.
Are you a member of any networking organization? Excepting doctors are not counted. Doctors association not.
No, actually I'm not, but I've been actually looking at possibly joining the BNI or a Rotary Club, because it's time to start putting myself out there a little bit. I've been too introverted, too focused in my own work. It's time to get out a little bit, enjoy life, socialize, and put it out to people that, this is what I'm working.
Join both.
Join both.
So we have one guy who's from the Premier chapter, Pritesh. He'll help
Yes,
you.
I've met Pritesh.
He'll help you join.
I
over
met
there.
him at a BNI meeting, in fact.
Okay, great. Pritesh, pakad lena usko. Already caught him, na? Okay, share with us some of your closest dreams and aspiration, no matter how crazy they are.
Well, I try not to fail. I try to deliver the best I can. And besides that, I'd love to go on a space trip like Star Trek.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, I'm a sci-fi buff.
Okay, same here. So the phaser and the Vaser has got something to do with that?
Well, the phaser ships you, the Vaser ships the fat out.
Out over there. Okay, if not this business, then what? What was the alternate career?
Most likely my family business.
Naru.
And absolutely.
Oh, wow. I love that, yeah.
And then you'd be toasting with champagne here.
Champagne, I know. Okay, what do you hate dislike and you can't take at all?
Dishonesty.
Okay.
And I'm very upset about the state of our country and our city, the corruption, and it's starting to get me down now. Waiting for people to open up and and strike out at it and do something about it. The problem is, who will bail the cat?
Yep. You feel that you would be more successful, more better if you were based somewhere in Europe or US?
Actually, no.
No?
Actually, no.
Okay.
We have a super lifestyle in Bombay. We have a great support system. And I have sisters, and 2 of them are doctors studying in the States. I have a lot of my medical college friends who are in the States and in Europe and UK. It's a very hard and lonely life.
Okay.
You have so much support, your networking is excellent. I mean, why would I give it up?
Okay. Good answer. One lesson life has taught you.
Don't take anything for face value. There's lots of things out there you need to consider, you need to think about things, take a conscious decision and go ahead doing the right thing, and you'll always come out on top.
Fantastic. Your message to the entrepreneurs out here?
I think I'm the most junior of all the entrepreneurs. I'm sort of on the cusp of, doing things, but I think you need to take the plunge. You need to do your research, you need to understand what you're doing, and if you think it's right, just go for it, and you won't look back.
Fantastic. One thing you'd like to change about yourself?
I'm going to go to Dr. Joshi and get some hair.
That's a nice one. In your view, how important is networking? We discussed that, but a bit more on that.
I think networking is very important because it allows people to know what you are doing. It's not just about marketing yourself and throwing yourself out of there. Everyone works for themselves, for their families. You need a little bit of recognition so that people know what you do and they can help you grow as well. And you help them grow as well at the same time.
Absolutely.
I think it's quite essential in all aspects.
How much networking, both offline and online, like social media, has helped you in enhancing your business?
I've actually just recently started social media marketing, and I think it will help because it has helped me connect with a lot of people I had forgotten about actually. And slowly and surely, I'm sure it's going to give me some good benefits.
Yeah, when I sent you the friend request, I realized that Dr. Naseem.
Yes.
We both were connected. We both were connected over there.
And I hadn't spoken to her for 2 years before that. So.
Great. So you spoke to her?
I did.
Okay. Good.
I messaged her.
Okay. One thing which you have never tried but would like to do?
Actually, skydiving.
Okay.
I have a fear of heights. So the day I do that, I conquer that fear.
Same here.
That day is far away.
The day is far away, I know. What about going on top of a tall building? Do you feel a bit?
I do.
You do?
So I'm a little careful, but I do it.
Okay. Like when we go on the roller coaster, my wife and both my kids, they'll go 2-3 times over there. Boss, no way. I will be very happy standing with all your bags over here. You'll enjoy yourself.
I'll buy you the tickets.
I'll buy the tickets. Go. What would you like to be in your next life and why? You cannot say yourself. Okay. Hitler, Mother Teresa, Paulo Coelho, Jack Welch, Bill Gates, Amitabh Bachchan, Sharad Pawar.
Interesting possibilities. I think maybe of all these, Mother Teresa, she's really blessed.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good option.
Doctor and saintly kind of stuff. Okay. What are your greatest fears if you have any? I think you shared that.
Fear of heights and fear of failure, yeah.
Failure. How's been your experience in Jam with Sam? This is your first time you've come over here?
It's been a very pleasant experience. I mean, we have a great audience. I haven't seen any nasty signs and tough looks from them. And I think it's a great way of getting people to network, to meet and expand their social circles as well. Thank you for having me here.
Fantastic. Thanks, Doc. And this is...
Thank you.
The still camera is there.
Yep.
There are actually 3 cameras.
All right. Thank you.
You can also put alcohol bottles in this.
That's what this is for,
that's
right?
it for over there. And this you can hold the big bottles over there.
So my patient doesn't know what's inside, whether it's coffee, tea or vodka. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you
for having me.